Okay, this is N4LQ calling CQ, the old friends 160 Net, which meets here on 1864 kilocycles every night at 8 p.m. Those wishing to check in, call now.
N4QR.
W4JPL.
K3OS.
Okay, we got Bob, N4QR, W4JPL John, and K3OS Gary. Any more check-ins? Okay, well, anyway, looks like another nice day behind us here. I got a little bit of a chance of rain tonight, maybe early in the morning, 20%, something like that. Not much, but it would be welcome. Every little bit helps. We did get that 1/10 of an inch a few days ago, which caused the front yard to sprout up real quick. And had a good net this morning on the Old Friends net on 75 meters, AM net. And let's see, I did some antenna work. I built a 44-foot doublet, and that length, 44 feet, is the maximum length of a doublet that you can use that will give you a dipole-like broadside radiation pattern from 40 through 10 meters. If it's any longer than that, you start getting some side lobes. So I thought what I'm going to do is install this vertically and see how she does in that regard. The pattern looks really good on the computer. Perfectly symmetrical, omnidirectional, very, very low angle radiation. And I think I'm going to go ahead and just put it on a pole. I've got a 50-foot push-up pole here. I'm going to stick it on and try that for a while. So that's the progress or the process right now. W4JPL, N4QR, N4LQ.
N4QR. Well, that sounds like something interesting to try out there. I've never done any experiments like that, and so it sounds like it might be worth trying it out and see what you learn from it. I noticed a slight rise in the noise level tonight, and so I guess maybe there might be a little bit of rain somewhere. I would like to see some more, because that last rain we had it just barely did wet the ground. It didn't make any change in what's growing out there either. My grass is still looks like it was recently mowed, and it's not growing. So maybe that's a good thing. It won't be long. We'll be having some freezing weather at night too. And I guess all the weather, all the grass, when that weather comes, it'll retire for the winter. Over to you, John. W4JPL, N4QR.
Okay, N4QR in the group, W4JPL. Well, good evening, everybody. Not too much to report here today. She's been walking on the beach a couple times, and must have been a real eventful day. We went to Southport, and we walked around there for a little while, went and looked at a few shops, bought a few things from the Christmas shop there. They got a Christmas shop, that's all they do all year. And went over to a restaurant in Charlotte, think I've had the most terrible meal I've had in years. And the funny thing is, the last time we were there, I thought it was one of the best meals I've had in years. I actually got an upset stomach from that matter. Needless to say, I won't be going there again. That's the second restaurant I've been to on this trip that was really great the last time I was here. And when I went there the second time, this time, it was really bad. So I guess owners change hands or they do something. So, K3OS, W4JPL.
W4JPL, K3OS. Evening, everybody. Hey, John, what rig are you running over there?
I'm running an ICOM 7610, running it remote from my home and RAM store through the internet to Oak Island. I'm running the ICOM RSDA1 software. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, it doesn't say, you got a whole lot of bass and not a lot of treble in the audio. I run remote with this as well, but I use different software. It has nothing to do with, I don't know whether it has to do with the software. I just wonder whether you can tailor that a little bit on one end or another. I'll have to give some thought to that. I'd like Steve can probably hear it too. Steve, you're running a little ESSB tonight. It sounds good over here. And evening to you, Bob. Sorry I haven't been on in a while. I've had sister-in-law passed away and a couple weeks ago, and I'm trying to settle her estate up, and we had some issues before that, so it's been kind of busy around here. But slowly starting to work my way through some of that, so we can kind of get back on the air here. Steve, okay on the double. You're going to run that vertically, huh? But you're gonna center feed that N4LQ K3OS.
Yep, sure am. This is N4LQ. Do we have any more check-ins? Oh, surely somebody else is out there. I got a text message from Mir this morning. Yeah, this morning. Said he was doing better and hoping to be out of rehab. And Gary, if you haven't been keeping up with that, he got both his knees replaced up in the Asheville hospital and rehab for almost a week. So he has to get to the point where he can climb as many stairs in that place as he does in his house. That's what he told me. So he's making progress. And the antenna is going to be vertically for a trial, and I realize it's an extremely low angle. I mean, when you look at it, it's just flat as a pancake, vertical that long. If it were any longer, it would start developing high-angle lobes. So again, that's the advantage of 44 feet. And being center-fed puts the high current point way up above the ground. The only issue, of course, and I'm sure you're thinking about this, Gary, is the feed line coming away will not be quite 90 degrees. So it'll cause a bit of a probably some common mode current on the line, but I've got ways of taking care of that. I don't think it'll be a huge issue. Just something I want to try. And if that doesn't pan out, I'll just put it up horizontally. But that'll require 2 trees. And I did shoot at shoot at a tree today until I finally tore up my reel. Boy, I had it laying on the chair, and I fired off a shot, and something snagged in that reel, and it flew off the deck and fell about 20 feet below on the rocks. It's messed up, so I just ordered another one from Walmart. It'll be here tomorrow with the groceries. $7 is all they cost. I'm not going to spend a lot of money on a fishing reel when I'm not fishing. There's not that much to them, and they work okay as long as you don't do something like what I did. And let's see, I'm using 300 ohm ladder line, so this antenna would be great for portable use. I mean, you can stick it up in a tree and have it hang down at an angle, or away from you at an angle, or inverted V or dipole, however you want to do it. It's not heavy at all, and we'll see how it tunes up. The information I've been getting on the computer looks pretty good. So ESSB, huh? Well, I guess, I probably got the bandwidth set a little bit wider than, I think it's about 4K. So with that, one more time for check-ins, N4LQ. And John, you've been bassy, but you're extra bassy tonight. A little bit hard to understand, actually. I'm trying. I cut the selectivity back, but it's almost all bass. I'm sure it's something to do with your mic or the computer or whatever. If there's some way to turn down the bass and turn up the treble, that would be interesting. And sorry, I think you said you kind of got sick at the restaurant over there at Southport. So, yep. You have to stay away from that place. Go to McDonald's. They got some real good stuff. Over to you, Bob. N4QR, N4LQ.
N4QR. Well, I guess not every place you go to eat is excellent. Some of them are more expensive than they should be, and a lot of them are really good, though. Anyway, my voice is not good tonight. I'm still working CW early mornings on 40 meters. I didn't do anything unusual this morning, I had 2 or 3 contacts, some rag shoes, and I think the band conditions were pretty good. After daylight, I talked to them down at Cary, North Carolina, on the 40 CW there, and there was no QSB. It sounded like he was a local, a very strong signal at both ends of the QSO. And so we had a long chat there. And so I haven't been doing anything around here. I've been staying in the house mostly. And just being lazy. Did take a walk today. It wasn't a long one, about 20 or 30 minutes. I hope we do get some rain. I think there's a possibility of it. Weather reports don't seem to be talking about it, but the noise level's increasing a little bit here, so I think there's something causing that. W4JPL, N4QR.
Okay, N4QR, W4JPL. Bob, I was talking real close to the mic and kind of low. Is this any better? Oh, great.
I would say it is better, yes.
Okay. I think I said Bob. I meant to say Steve. Okay, well, I don't know. It's the same setup I've been running all along and haven't changed anything. Strange. Oh, well, like I said, I don't have a lot to report today, except, we did go to Southport. We always have a good time walking through the little shops and whatnot. And that's where I usually meet Brian, and we might catch up with each other at the end of the week. K3OS, W4JPL.
W4JPL, K3OS. That is better. Still bassy, but there you put some treble back in it, which is good. Much more copyable, John. Anyway. And Steve, yeah, I'm measuring about 4 kilohertz on you. I'm seeing it on the screen here. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I'm hearing you just fine. And Bob as well. Oh, thanks for the update on Mir. But I didn't think they did both knees at the same time. Holy Toledo. He may be doing okay, but wow. I thought a lot of doctors will only do one at a time. Yeah, I was thinking about your feed line thing there. Well, it'll work. It'll be interesting to see. My crude, and I use that word, crude analysis of verticals is that they tend to be like a vertical dipole tends to be 7 dB down from a horizontal, but of course it depends on the angle of radiation you're looking for. So interesting to see what you see on that. And so John, on the next round, I'm trying to figure out what beach you're at. Where? Oh, you're on Oak Island. I'm sorry. I've got a friend that I talked to in the morning. He's got a place there, but he's up in Michigan currently. And but normally in the summer he's up at Oak Island. We haven't been down to Myrtle, which is normally North Myrtle, which is normally where we go once or twice a year. We haven't been down there in a couple of years. Keep thinking about that, and just never. I don't know. Never just can't get there. It's been busy here. Sorry about the dinner. Restaurants change chefs and change owners and do all of that stuff, and we've had that experience here where we've ended up we've had great dinners at one restaurant. There is what used to be a great restaurant downtown in Hickory called the Vintage House. Used to be expensive and really fabulous food. Really fabulous food. And we went there last Christmas with a bunch of people. We didn't like it, and nobody wants to go back. So there you go. Up to you. It was a good net this morning, except I've got this. I've got the MFJ auto tuner here, just like you, Stephen. Guys, it's connected. It's connected to the ICOM, the 7610. And when I want to use it with another radio, as I did this morning, I have to make sure that the ICOM is off and that I repower set the tuner. Otherwise, the tuner doesn't want to respond right because I'm trying to use it with not connected with the special interface cable. Well, this morning I happened to power the ICOM on because I was having trouble hearing the guys, only to find out that I had somehow off-tuned the receiver. So I powered the ICOM back up, and guess what? Then the amp didn't work because the tuner wasn't seeing a proper match. So anyway, I figured it out ultimately, but what we go through every now and then. I have a manual tuner here, but the Kenwood is not tied. The Kenwood twins are tied to this solid state amp, and not to the other amp. I've got to get one of the AM rigs on the AL811 here, but I need a little attenuator to do that. We've talked about that. Something I'll get around to. All right, over to Bob. Steve. N4LQ K3OS.
Hey, watch it there. This N4LQ. Do we have any more check-ins? One question, Gary. Are you going to be around for the luncheon next? Not this, but next Thursday?
Well, assuming I can switch my school schedule, the answer is, and I'll know that on Thursday. I think that shouldn't be a problem, but my initial plan was yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. The company's always welcome, and with John, KZ4B, I think he's chomping at the bit, so to speak. He got all new teeth, and he's going to be ready for that chicken liver down there at the Golden Corral. So I reduced the bandwidth to 3.5, which you may be able to see on your scope. I don't know. Probably doesn't sound any different at all, but interesting to hear the report back on that. And yeah, verticals, they're pretty predictable. I mean, it's going to be a DX hound, and we'll see how it works out. On 10 meters, I think it'll probably do better, especially locally. There's a bunch of guys around here that get on 10 meters, and a lot of them use verticals. And on a horizontal antenna, you can't hardly hear each other. You lose 20 dBs between a vertical and a horizontal antenna if you're trying to communicate by ground wave. So it makes a humongous difference. But I had a in-fed half wave set up here for 20, and on that pole, this has been about a year ago, and I gave it a try, and I couldn't hear anything but DX. All the locals on 20 meters were really weak. I mean, by local, I mean anybody within 2,000 miles. Out beyond that, I mean, New Zealand, Australia, all that, you could hear them on the vertical, but not on the horizontal antenna. So it just gives you some more variety, I guess. And we'll see how this multi-band approach works out. But I love my MFJ tuner in 998. Man, sometimes I don't know what I would do without it, and I got two of them. One's a backup to the other one. I've had it fail a couple of times, but I've been able to fix it. And it is interfaced to the 7610 ICOM. I've got the cable. But if I switch the SDR rig over to it, it usually just works with no issue. And sometimes I've got to kind of reset it, turn it off back on real quick, but usually it just goes ahead and works. I'm not sure what the deal there is. And sometimes without the interface cable, the SDR sometimes won't trigger it because it's the parameters it's set for are so out of whack on one band, and you switch bands, it doesn't get enough power, and it takes more power than I've got to get it to go. So I hit the tune button on the tuner, and that clears it out, and it's ready to go. So anyway, let's see. I guess that's all for now. Do we got any more check-ins out there? All right, Bob. Well, we missed you last night, Bob, and I'm glad you're up and around and taking your walks and so forth. And I didn't do any CW this morning. I've got too busy doing some other things here. I actually got the mop out and mopped the floor. The floor in this house is all brick, glossy. It's real street brick, kind of rough, but it's been varnished and it looks pretty shiny when it's clean. N4QR, N4LQ.
N4QR. Well, Steve, I guess it's got a good permanent coating on there to keep it from being rough. Let's see. I think there's something I'm going to say here. I can't think. Sometimes I get interested in stuff on YouTube, and that's why I didn't show up here. A while ago, I was looking at something that they've discovered some ancient mega stoneworks in Montana. It was covered up with brush. There was some stone walls. I think they've been there for 11,000 years, maybe. It was on private property, and it was covered up with brush for who knows how long, and nobody even knew that the stonework was there until they got to digging around there. As they cleared the brush away, they found it looks like it's artificially laid granite blocks. The biggest one they said was 90 tons, and it's like the stoneworks down in Peru and Bolivia, in Japan, Egypt, Jerusalem, all kinds of places. And I don't know how in the world anybody ever was able to cut out a block of granite the size of a freight car and move it and stack it. But in Baalbek, Lebanon, there's a platform there that the Romans built a temple on top of. they think that the stones may go in the ground maybe 10 or 15 feet. And up here in Montana, they said they used ground-penetrating radar, and they discovered that there's got to be stones as far below the surface of the ground as they are above. And they're about 20 feet high there. And they think there's another 20 feet of it underground. Of course, it might not have been underground when it was built, but it was thousands of years ago, and nobody knows who built it. And I don't know how in the world anybody could ever move blocks of stone that big, because over in Syria they found a quarry, and I think there's one in Lebanon. Lebanon too, where they sawed out blocks of granite. Now, in Lebanon they found a block that weighed 1,100 tons, and 100 it weighed a little bit more. I think it was 1,200 tons. And how in the world would you move a block of stone like that? The biggest crane we've got can handle 18 tons. So I'm always intrigued by that. I'd like to find out who built it and how they did. They didn't leave any of their machinery laying around, that's for sure. W4JPL, N4QR.
Okay, N4QR in the group, W4JPL. Well, I have no idea how they move that stuff around, and I don't think about stuff like that. There's no way to know. That's interesting, though. I'm going to sign out of here, boys. It's been a long day, and we're going to have more fun tomorrow here at Oak Island. So, y'all carry on. I'll talk to you guys in the morning on 75 or tomorrow night here. 73, God bless. Carry on. K3OS, W4JPL.
Hey, John. Enjoy your stay there. And the weather and the beach and the water. Hang on here, I got to change. Bring up the delay a little bit here. I decided to turn the Vox on and see whether I like that or not. Saves me from being too long-winded. Hey, so have a good night and enjoy the rest. I'm going to say, the stone block stuff, Bob. I've been to Stonehenge over in the UK. You could say the same thing about that too. It's just it's crazy how any of those guys moved those stones of those magnitudes, got them up there. Nobody. That's the piece of them. They can speculate, but that's the missing piece of the puzzle. How in the world did they do all of that? How did they lever all of those stones? How did they cut them? How did they move them? I'll bet you could see a lot of. I wonder how many people died as a result of that as well. But when you see some of that stuff, you really you're really in amazement. I've never been to the pyramids or anything like that. That's just that's crazy, And some of those details have been lost forever. Why do I have to crank the Vox way the heck up here? Anyway. I'm trying to think of what else. Steve, okay, so back up to you. Why did Mir go all the way up to Asheville? N4LQ, K3OS.
It's N4LQ. Anybody else want to check in? Why did he go to Nashville? I think, I guess that's where they, I tell you what, I remember now, he was trying to find a surgeon that would do both knees at the same time. He didn't want to do one, then the other. And he tried a couple of places, and it turned out to be Asheville was the only place that did it. And then they set him back for, several weeks, I guess, because of the flood and all that. And once the emergency was the emergency was declared over at the hospital, then they let him in and did the knee thing. And apparently this doctor that did it, it's pretty commonplace for him to do so at both at the same time. And Charlie, he's got somebody that's some relative, I think, that works in that field, and they told him that when you do both knees concurrently, you have to be very careful with your weight distribution and never favor one knee or the other, because if you end up favoring one knee, that'll go bad within 3 or 4 years. So yeah, that's a concern. And my wife had been reading something about collagen today. Collagen is that stuff found in meat that is good for your bones, and your weakest bones are your knees. And if you don't get enough meat with collagen in it, that will cause the problem, which may be something to do with the vegetarian diet. I don't know. Just something she threw out there, and I thought, well, that's interesting. But there's so many people that have knee trouble these days. It's gotten to be real common. I think we're living long enough now that things are starting to fall apart. So, yeah, Bob, these bricks are just rough, and they're not rough like sandpaper. They're rough like lumpy, like an old brick street. I mean, these bricks look like paving bricks. They're not cut flat on the top. So if you're walking around barefoot, it kind of feels good, really. But they are kind of glossy because they seal those with some kind of a varnish-like material. I've got a can of it here. And when we bought the house, I had a company come in and strip it all and reseal it. So it looks okay. And the mortar is dark, so it doesn't show up real. It's kind of shocking to see. When you first walk into the house, you think, what in the world is this? So we got some big area rugs, and it doesn't look too bad. Let's see, Gary, I forgot. Did you turn it over to me?
Yeah, I did.
I wasn't sure. Okay. I lost track. Anybody else out there? Well. Okay, well, we lost John, but he got tired. N4QR, N4LQ.
N4QR. Well, I don't know what else I've got to contribute to the conversation here. I'm always interested in these ancient sites around the world, and nobody knows who built that, and they don't know how it was built either. And so it could have been built by giants, I guess, because we do have stories of ancient times when there were giants on the earth. But yeah, I've read a lot of books on that. I never tire of reading that and trying to understand what the earth was like before Homo sapiens. There were intelligent people on this planet, and they created our ancestors through genetic engineering, and they wrote books about it on slabs of clay. And a small amount of that in percentage has been translated. I understand there's been thousands of these clay books found in museums and in the back rooms of museums too. So a lot of it's been translated to tell us that they had a theory of the way the solar system was created, the way the earth was created. And we learn about people who came here from another planet before they created our ancestors. Now, they needed servants, and that's why they created Homo sapiens. Okay, I guess it's back to you, Gary. K3OS N4QR.
I got an explanation. You mentioned giants. I think the giants used dinosaurs to help them out. Go ahead, Gary.
There you go. Who rode those dinosaurs, right?
Yeah, yeehaw.
I don't know, Bob. I haven't heard those theories, so I'm not in a position to comment about that. Anyway, always interesting to figure out who did what to whom and all that stuff. Yeah, okay. On the double knee thing, yeah, I knew they were few and far between people who were going to do that. Why is this box dropping out? I decided to put the headphones on. Sound really good with these. I got a pair of those Bose headphones like you do, Steve. Everybody's sounding really nicely through them. Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of places you can go and visit and take a look and wonder as to how in the world they were put together, and oftentimes there's just no answer. For whatever reason, there was no, of all the stuff that they've uncovered, they can't seem to uncover how in the world they did it. Go figure. Oh, yeah. Hey, I'm looking at something I've never used here on this ICOM, Steve. On the Vox settings, there's a thing called voice delay. Is that just a digital delay in there that I can turn on and off?
Voice delay. That's just the how long it holds, isn't it?
No, there's a delay feed. There's a delay function. I'm looking at it, which is the hang time, but there's also a voice delay. I'm wondering whether this delays everything to allow, let's say, for the amp to get keyed on so that the first bit of the word is not clipped.
No, I think that's, I see what you're saying. Short, mid, and long. Short, mid, and long. Maybe those are just presets for the other delay. So instead of, I don't know. I'm just guessing. I never did use. I don't like Vox because it keeps dropping out on me. And any rig I ever tried, that's just what it does. And you kind of keep it going by talking real slow. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know. All right, so I'm trying the short delay here. Let's see what it does. I don't know whether it makes any difference or not. I'll look it up. I've never seen it. Well, I tend not to run Vox either. But I've got the gain. I'm running a D104, and I've got the gain up at 89%. Otherwise, it drops out even more. Anyway, whatever it is, I'll play with it for tonight, and I won't play with it tomorrow. All right. Well, not much else going on here, and I finally signed a contract to get this tree that fell on my dock removed, and once that gets done, then I can figure out how we're going to rebuild the dock. So that project is ongoing and will be for quite a while. So let me pass it back to you, Steve. We'll pass it around one more time here, and I'm going to get out of here. I understand the World Series is on. I might go watch a little bit of that. I'm not a baseball fan, but I do like the World Series. N4LQ, K3OS.
Okay, Gary, N4LQ. Well, glad you're making progress on your tree. There's a lot of trees still laying around here that not in my yard. We got those out real quick. But some people around here just, I guess they're waiting on somebody to come and do it, but I don't think it's that hard to find somebody. Some of them are so massive, it's going to take a huge chainsaw to cut them. There's a pine tree that fell behind us here on the other street. It must be over 2 feet in diameter, and then there's an oak tree that was in somebody's front yard. It must be the granddaddy of all trees. That thing is every bit of 4 feet across. I mean, it looks like something Paul Bunyan would have had to cut, and that's going to take some special equipment to get it. And it's looked like an accident getting ready to happen for a long time. As far as these rocks go, I can explain, all the rocks, like something in Nevada or whatever. I mean, you got to realize that everything has to be somewhere, and that's just where it is. I mean, it's just a rock, and it may look like it's carved, but rocks sometimes do that. And of course, during the worldwide flood that Noah rode around on his boat, that was a big upheaval. That wasn't just a flood. The water was all underground prior to that. That's what the Bible says. It was all underground, and it just it came up. It says like a mist that watered the ground, and then there was kind of a canopy over the earth that kept the moisture in. But when that flood hit, all these geysers popped up all over the place, and it's just tremendous upheaval. And so a lot of big old rocks and things like that popped up, I'm sure. And some of them, Stonehenge could have been just the result of the rocks just happened to land that way. But now the pyramids, I really don't. I don't think that could have been an accident, and I don't think they're as old as that. I don't know how they went about doing it. Just all theory. A lot of slave labor too, I would think. But there were some big people back then they called giants. I don't know how big they were, but even then, I'm not too sure how much physical strength they had. They couldn't have lifted those anyway. But they did have some engineering knowledge that is mysterious. So anyway, well, I guess we can start wrapping her up, Bob, if you want to get off, and Gary's the same way. So we'll turn it around here for one more round of 73s. N4QR, N4LQ.
N4QR. Well, it's fascinating. Last time I heard about Gilgamesh, he was the first ruler of Babylonia, I believe. He was a legendary king. He's supposed to have been 17 feet tall, and he killed a full-grown lion with his bare hands, so he became known as the lion killer amongst his people. There's all kinds of stories like that, and they were written down a long time ago. We don't know what kind of a civilization it was that they built stuff like the pyramids, and I believe the pyramids were built before Egypt existed. It had another name back then. Anyway, 73, K3OS, N4QR, clear.
Okay, Bob. And Steve, good evening to everybody. Hope everybody has a good day. Yeah, all the issues are slowly working their ways out of here. N4LQ to wrap it up, K3OS.
All right, gentlemen. Have a good evening, and see you tomorrow night, same time, same channel.